In the Adelaide foothills, these volunteers are collecting seeds they say are crucial for revegetation and the future of the planet.
If you rattle it like this, you can hear that rattle with the seed inside.
This area they're trying to protect is in Boothby, South Australia's most marginal seat. In this relatively affluent electorate, climate change is a red-hot issue.
We have less than 10% of native bushland left in the Adelaide Hills. As a nation, we really need to step up, we need to invest more and we need to protect more natural areas.
I'm a resident of Boothby and I have been all my life. Climate change is my number one decision-making factor when I'm considering where to place my vote.
Oh, excellent. Can I offer you a shopping bag? Oh, lovely. There you go.
Yeah.
Liberal candidate and health consultant Rachel Swift is directing her pitch at voters like Sarah.
Climate change is regularly raised with me. I'm pleased that we've already made a commitment to net zero by 2050.
Another lady was talking to me about climate change.
Labor's Louise Miller-Frost is also promising climate change action.
Labor has a 2030 target. It's a target that's been independently modelled. It has policies behind it that show we will get there.
Boothby is commonly described as a bush, burbs and beach electorate, with a razor-thin margin of 1.4% and no incumbent. Some election observers believe the Liberals face a real risk of losing the seat they've held since 1949.
The government currently holds a majority of one seat, so they really can't afford to lose any seats anywhere in the country. So a seat like Boothby is of critical importance to the government if it's to survive.
Good luck everyone, eyes down, and your first number is 6 and 0, number 60.
With such a tight margin, the Liberal candidate has to balance the Coalition's climate change pitch with bread and butter issues such as the cost of living.
I don't go out much because it's too expensive. It's actually cheaper to stay home.
I never ever thought that I'd carry on about pensioners, but now that I'm one myself, it becomes quite relevant, you know, going shopping and with the food prices. Petrol, of course, is horrendous.
Beyond the fuel tax relief, what is the Coalition doing to ease the cost of living?
Well, there's lots of elements to that. So some of them come around housing and making sure that there's opportunities for people to purchase a house. It's also about making sure that people have the opportunity to get into good jobs and plan for their future.
As a former CEO of welfare agency St Vincent de Paul, Labor's Louise Miller-Frost says she understands how much people are struggling.
There's a lot of pain out in the community. There's a lot of hope, but there is a lot of pain.
How will Labor reduce the cost of living for Boothby voters?
Certainly lowering the cost of power prices through our renewable energy strategy. And the cost of living issue is both a wage and a cost issue. So raising the wages will actually also help.
The tight race means preferences will be crucial.
I think the expectation would be that the Labor and Liberal Party will finish first and second on preferences. Most of the Greens' preferences at the last election flowed to Labor, and I think there's every expectation that that would happen again.
Hi there, my name's Jeremy and I'm the Greens candidate for Boothby. If we in Boothby elect a Liberal representative, we know that they'll be answerable to Barnaby Joyce and Scott Morrison, and we know how those two feel about action on climate change.
Has the Coalition got the policy settings on climate correct, or can more be done?
I think there's always opportunity to do more, and I think anyone who seeks to represent their community wants to have a voice on a number of issues. I come from a science background. I'm evidence-based in how I make my decisions, and I'm very good at using that evidence to convince others that we need to make certain decisions.
Independent candidate Joe Dyer is also pitching environmental advocacy and is backed by $20,000 from Simon Holmes Court's Climate 200 group.
We want to see a moratorium on any new gas and coal extraction. We want to see an immediate abolition of the subsidies for the fossil fuel industry.
Joe Dyer made national headlines as the friend and advocate of the woman known as Kate, who took her own life in 2020, months after accusing former Attorney General Christian Porter of raping her when they were both teens back in the late 1980s. He's consistently denied the accusation.
Nothing in the allegations that have been printed ever happened.
We know Joe Dyer ran for the Labor Party as a pre-selection candidate in Adelaide, has been very vocal on her Labor views or anti-Liberal views online.
I haven't been a member of the Labor Party since my late 20s. I am critical of the government and I'm critical of their policy legacy and I'm critical of their policy agenda, but I'm also critical of the Labor Party.
Polls indicate Labor could have the upper hand in Boothby, but the Liberals have a track record of fighting off defeat.
I do think there is a mood for change. Whether that's sufficient remains to be seen.
I know if they offer me their vote that I will be the strongest possible representative for the people of Boothby and Canberra.
Sarah Martin knows just how important her vote will be in deciding the seat and which party forms government.
I think the federal election is a chance for us all to sit back and have a rethink about our priorities. And we have privilege to vote, and I'd like to think that everybody will use that vote and use it wisely for themselves, for the general community and for the generations to come.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.